Hey guys, Andy here. Now, you may have noticed I take a bit of an interest in dash cams. I like to have one in my car if I can. I like one that's just going to record automatically. I want it to have decent quality. Just in case, really, I suppose. If someone does something stupid, pulls across in front of me, or they cause an accident, I would like to have evidence of what actually happened. It saved my bacon on my motorbike. I happened to have my GoPro on when I was knocked off, and I ended up being declared fault-free, 100% the other person, whatever you want to say. It wasn't my fault. So I have here, I watched anyone that sort of looks for dash cams generally will have seen a Techmoan video at some point or other. He does do the best videos for dash cams. So I was quite interested when he basically declared this to be what he thought. Well, it was the one he was going to use, I think he said in the end. So when someone that's tried pretty much everything picks one, you think, well, this might be worth looking at. So this one is the DDPai M6 Plus, something like that. I don't know how well you can read that. It's not the best. It's kind of a black against a metallic grey, but it says 1440p auto cycling, Wi-Fi, GPS, sharing to social networks, Android and iOS apps, remote snap, 4 megapixel color CMOS, an f1.8 aperture, pretty good, and a G sensor. And there's lots of other specs. Again, I don't know if you can even read them. I'm not going to worry too much about the specs. It's more interested about what you get. Oh, Jesus, that's quite a snug. So this one cost me about £99. It comes, I think, from China, although the package system about Germany on it when it came. I'll put a link in below. It's an eBay purchase. Am I upside down? The manual says it's upside down. So that is the manual. Oh, is it sealed? Well, I'm not going to worry too much about the manual just now. It's actually quite nicely packaged. So clearly this is the cable. This is the power connector. And this is almost a sexual looking image on that. I've no idea what that is. What is that? So that looks like the cigarette connect. I don't know. I'm going to open it to find out. Oh, it's the mount. Okay, yeah, I can see that. So it is the mount. One which will stick to the windscreen, and the actual kind of mount that will then hook into it, and you'll sort of position it in place. That's kind of almost spring-loaded as it is. Position into place, however you wish, and I assume we're going to tighten that. There we go. And I can feel that's gone hard. Obviously, there's looks like a micro USB input at the back of the stand. So I like if it's a powered stand that the camera can be removed on and off, which this you will see shortly can be. Do we need to see the? I'll have a quick look. So it's got two sockets, a 1 amp and a 2.1 amps. I would imagine it only needs one to drive the camera. We've got one sticky. Oh, there's a few. Okay, there's a few sticky cable holders there. They could be very handy. So let's keep that for the install. And obviously, I'll go through all the boring stuff first. Obviously, just hopefully fairly long. It certainly looks fairly long. Micro USB cable, and a couple of sort of plastic diggery things to help you fit it all in. So I think that's the boring stuff. Now let's move on to, let's have my image facing upwards though. Now we get a pushy button, which apparently you can press. If something happens, you can press, and it kind of with spongy interior on both bits. Oh, and sticky pad. All right, sticky pad, so you can stick it to something on the dash probably, and that clearly says on it. But apparently the sticky button is, or the button is for if something happens, you can press that button and it saves something like the last 11 seconds to a secure memory. Now, I mean, generally I'm going to have, I guess, a 32 gig, maybe I'll get a 64 gig for it, memory card, which is going to slot in there, look. So that's I would imagine that would last a good few hours. It's unlikely you're going to be doing a long enough trip that if you had an accident, you're going to carry on driving and lose that footage, but you push your button anyway just to be safe. We've obviously got a bit of clear protection over the front of the lens. Let's take that off. I say it feels at this point quite weighty. That's a good thing. You know, it feels solid. It doesn't feel hollow. Definitely, that's quite a promising start. We have got 3 lights there, which I believe are something on the lines of like powered, recording, and GPS or something like that. But I would, should we have a quick look? Should we do the unthinkable and actually look at the instruction manual? Oh dear, that's. See, I don't like that. It would have been nice to have had just a flap that I untucked from somewhere, but I'm going to have to rip things open. You're welcome. So I suppose... Oh no, like I said, I suppose the next problem might be it's everything's in like Korean or Chinese or whatever it might be. But no, we do actually have... We do have some English instructions. Not that bit, clearly. Can we see anywhere what the lights tell us? Not massively. I'm going to obviously this bit's the unboxing part. I'm going to use the item, use the camera, and give my feedback, and I'll be able to tell you then what the different lights are for. So this should, in theory, so that's stuck to the windscreen. Oh, that was quite nice. Oh no, that was the I thought it'd come off, but it wasn't. It was actually the that loosened, and that's pretty solid. That really is quite solid. I can imagine, even in a crash, that's going to stay put. I'm putting a lot of force. I mean, even the mount's moving rather than the. I'm going to need 2. That's I like that. That's a good strong magnet. That will hold nicely in place on your windscreen. You position it obviously where you want. Loosen the screw up. Position it where you want. Tighten up and off you go. One thing I realised I should do before we head out to the car. Excuse me. I'm going to plug the power in. It just reaches. You'll probably hear the announcement. Here we go.
Hello, ding ding pie.
Ding ding pie. So, I've installed the app already. Don't worry, it does have it English as well. So we're going to switch to the camera. Connect. The password is like 123456789 by default, so nice and easy. Network connection failed, but hopefully now. And obviously we're just going to be looking at some green felt. Internet is unavailable, of course. So there we go. We go to me. Sorry, moving into view. We've got camera. Go to me. So we get settings. We've got the camera settings itself. So you can change the Wi-Fi password if you wish. Video recording with sound. Capture with video clip. Enable eDog. Do you know what? I'm not actually sure what eDog was. I might have to look that up. You got the image quality. You can go up to 2K. I'm just leaving it on 1080p, that's enough for me. Video mode, Blu-ray cinema mode. I'll leave it on full screen, is fine. We've got some advanced settings, lens distortion. Yeah, it was quite fish-eyed. I turned that on. Date and time display, reveal speed. I might turn that off actually. So we've got the start song, we've got parking mode. So I don't have it on a permanent power supply, so parking mode won't actually work for me. But in theory, that then records any movement it sees. We've got the time-lapse video as well, again, which I can't easily demo because I don't have an always-on power, but basically it takes I think it's a frame every sort of, I don't know if it's 10 or 15 seconds, and you can basically kind of watch what's gone on while you've been away. It's quite clever, but only works if you've got always-on power. Camera storage management, so it shows me how much space. I've got a 32 gig card in there. Only used 20% so far over the last few days. Shows me how much I recorded on the different days. That's quite clever. Camera info, just if you wanted to check what version I'm on to get recording. So we do have where I've been and gone and stuff like that is recorded. It's quite clever because obviously you've got GPS. And like I say, you do have a live, so you can sort of check when you've set it up that you've got a good view. But and it will show us as you're driving if you have the app open. The weird thing, I don't think. Oh, yeah, there we go. So you can get full video view if you turn it sideways. You've got a compass as well, showing you which way you're going. So that's the app. Quite handy. I think now it's time to whack it in the car and see how it performs. So I've situated it just behind my rear view mirror on the right hand side, and you can take the whole thing off quite easily. That's, obviously you can pull the magnetic camera bit itself, but you can remove the whole mount fairly easily and leave just the disc. And one thing I like is it's not particularly noticeable from the outside. If I drop in a yellow circle, that's the dash cam. It's not very blatant, which I think is a good thing. Now we're inside the car and we're moving with the app running, just to show you that you can see the video footage kind of freezes every few seconds. I think that's more of a connectivity thing. It doesn't affect the 3-minute video loops that it records, so don't worry about that. Now we're in the vehicle watching some of the footage. This was it was sort of an odd day. It's a bit bright. You can see there's some really bright parts of the sky, but there's actually quite a lot of cloud cover. So I thought it was quite hard conditions in some way, but I think this is perhaps where it performs its best. And you can see if we freeze it there, although the license plates look a bit of a blur as they're flying by, actually when you freeze the video, they're perfectly readable. So generally I think a very good image in, I suppose these are probably the easier conditions of some that I filmed in. Here we're a bit of a wet, rainy day, and again, no problems at all there. Generally some very good, clear video footage. What I'm going to do now is fade over to the same bit of road, but on a much brighter day, and you can see the reflection from my dashboard causes a few problems. This perhaps isn't even the worst. I think there were a few bits where it's even worse than that, but I think it's very clear here. So you need some kind of polarizing filter perhaps, which doesn't come with the kit, but I think I might have to have a bit of a look for. I mean, it's not a massive issue, and I think you can still, again, when you freeze things, you can see registrations. We're moving on now to slightly lower light. So you can see it's on the camera is 10 to 9, and the light is beginning to dim. Some street lights are coming on, not all of them. And I think generally it still looks a very good image. Not really any problems there. And in fact, what we'll do again is freeze the camera. But we see now we are having problems because of the lack of light. It doesn't get us crisp an image, and we're going to struggle to read some license plates at this point. Then we're going to move to actual, I mean, like you see, this is 20 past 11 at night. Everything is very dark with the street lights on. And I mean, you can still see very clearly what's going on, where cars are going and where you're going. But again, you're not going to get any registration plates off this video footage, unfortunately. And you can see it gets very dark there, and you do struggle to see a bit on the side road. Now here, you see it kicking to like a night mode. Do you see how it went orange? I'm not really sure that particularly helps at all either. So again, with a bit more street lighting, things are looking a bit better, but possibly the low light is one of the weaker points of the camera. One thing we haven't mentioned, or I haven't mentioned, sorry, is the microphone. So let's now hear a sample from the mic. So this is a test of the microphone on the DDPai Dashcam. Both my voice and the car engine, I suppose. So there we go. It is a very good camera. It's £99, which isn't too expensive. It's probably on the slightly upper end of dash cams, but it does have its problems, like the glare from the dashboard, as you can see on the video at the moment, and the not the best low light. Well, not low light, but the very dark, night recording, I suppose. But it is a good camera with reasonable conditions. It records very clearly, crisper than my previous one, so I think I will be using it as my main dash cam for now. Not quite as good as I'd hoped it might be, so I will still be on the lookout for anything better, and of course if I find anything I would let you guys know. So that's it for now. My name's Andy. I'll catch you all again soon.